I've already done a video about why the highest let Jason go, but this video was inspired by Ruthless TV and her upload about the crossover, aka the Ruthless Oval crossover, and how disappointing it was. Now, go ahead and subscribe. She has 30,000 subscribers, but she definitely deserves more. If you're a fan of the Oval, and if you love Ruthless and you're like, Jeremy, what? I wish you would review the Ruthless series again. Ruthless TV has you covered. She does fantastic reviews, and honestly, she's the reason why I'm still up to date on what's going down with Ruthless. Now, I don't know if I'll ever review the show again. I just fell out of it. I know a lot of people say that Ruthless is better than the Oval, but at the same time, I really don't. I'm not feeling the story anymore. It just seems like the show itself has gone on for way too long. This isn't a video meant to bash Ruthless because truth be told, I think those first couple seasons, well, mainly the back half of season 1 combined with what I did see from season 3 were great. But a lot of people do say like, yo, season 4, you're missing out. I don't know. Maybe I'll pick up the show once again. I cannot promise you that. Not to mention, I don't even know when season 4 is going to continue. It's been off since June, but more to the point of this particular video. I'm going to talk about why I felt this particular crossover was disappointing. Now, I hinted towards this stuff in my episode reviews and, I think even the video about why the highest let Jason go. But I left a lengthy comment on her video, and I'm just going to read that because honestly, it breaks it down. It's just that this crossover had a lot of potential. And I remember when Daniel, the actor that plays Jason, from behind the scenes, he posted a picture in one of the Rakadouchi trailers where you see a picture of the highest. And it's like, oh, snap, he's going to be at the compound. And there was so much that we speculated about. Wait, what if he finds his sister there? What if Gail's there? Because I remember way back at the beginning of season 2, when Gail was like in that opening scene when the plane went down, when Jason opened the emergency window and had killed their grandmother. And then it's like, oh yeah, I bet she's taken away to be brainwashed or something so she can get the idea of liberation out of her head. But no, Gail, not there. Wow, is he going to meet Ruth? Because Ruth is Denise's twin sister. So what if seeing Ruth kind of triggers something in his mind? It's like, Denise? Something like that. No, he didn't meet Ruth. He only interacted with 4 people: Manny, River, Daikon, the highest. Is he going to be trapped there? Like, he's the president's son. Will the Rakadouchi somehow use him to get to the government because they hate government? Will they hold him hostage or ransom? Get like, hey, you know what? To the president, if you have the power to get like the government, the police, everybody to leave us alone. If you leave us and our operations alone, we'll give you your son back, no problem. No, that didn't happen. They just let him go. I mean, and the list goes on so many different ways. And I love the idea that Ruthless TV put in her video about how, yeah, it would have been something to have like Jason either put into the punishment trailer, or he just wanders around and looks at the compound and how things are run, and maybe he'll get ideas of how to torture people because, he's a little psychopath in himself, but he could probably learn a thing or two from the Rakadouchi and how they do things. Would he try to escape the compound? Like I said, and the list goes on, but my personal theory that I had, and I wish it would have happened, would have been some sort of team up where we know that Jason hates his parents and, wants to bring the administration down, expose them. Why not be the inside man? Well, not necessarily inside man, but be the one to tell the Rakadouchis like how to infiltrate the White House and whatnot, because he knows every nook and cranny of that building and he could put the right people in the right places. But no, he's seemingly just free to go. And I've already said that he just left, and I guess that's it. It was just a little side mission for the character. And personally, I feel Jason only got to the compound so Tyler could have River and Jason on screen together as a little treat to the fans, because for the longest time, well, actually, I think since River was introduced in the back half of season 1, fans were like, oh, he looks just like Jason. So it's kind of like, oh yeah, well, I'll get them on screen together for a little bit, and that's about it. Because remember, Jason interacted, or Mike, River was the character he interacted with like 98% of his time at the compound. You know, that was pretty much it. And to kind of go over a few of the different things that I didn't like, personally, I knew something was up when Jason was eating that food, because River went to go get him some food. He said the elder mother prepared it. And I'm thinking, oh snap, they probably going to drug this kid. He's going to wake up in one of the, either interrogation or punishment trailers or something. He just ate the food, and apparently there was like no side effect. Now we know Jason, he vapes and he smokes, and he possibly does some drugs too. I don't know, but it just, I expected something. He just ate the food, no issue. Now we know that at that dang compound, everything that's on a plate or in a cup or glass has some sort of drugs in it to like, hallucinations or to mellow out people. Jason just ate the food, went to sleep, woke up, no problem. And that was kind of like my first sign that this crossover was not going to be handled well, because it felt like the continuity that we know from the Rakadushi and the Ruthless series would not be upheld in the Oval. Number 2. Oh, actually, let me go back to point 1. If you don't believe me, go back to season 1 when Brian and the sheriff first went to the compound, and the sheriff, what they gave him like a basket of muffins, and he drank some lemonade, and Brian noticed how loopy he was, and the food and stuff was drugged. And then when Malcolm and Lynn came and they ate that food, and they were just knocked just completely out, because it depends on how much is used in the actual meal. So yeah, Jason being unfazed was a weird kind of thing. Number 2, the fact that the highest was just being cool about this entire situation. Now, Daikon being the only one on high alert makes sense, because he's naturally suspicious and untrusting. But keep in mind that the compound, based off like what I've seen from Ruthless and what I remember, if a cop car is seen within the area, and because if I remember correctly, they have Rakadushi soldiers, in stations within like a couple of miles from the front gate of the compound. So they usually like walkie-talkie each other like, hey, there's a cop car coming. So just the hint of the quote-unquote government or a cop car sends the entire compound into a frenzy. They got everyone with guns. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna, have the kids eat the applesauce and whatnot, and like go to meet the Raku. And it's like, wait, what? But yet you have a person who looks exactly like the first son of the United States. And keep in mind, as soon as Daikon, because Daikon immediately is like, you're the first son. And as soon as he brings them to the trailer of the highest thinks, wait, River, why are you wearing those clothes? And then he's like, wait a minute, you're the first son. And it's like, you're not freaking out about this. Like, we have the son of the flipping president of the United States, and the highest doesn't even flinch. It just felt completely weird. And like I said, again, Ruthless TV did a great job talking about how weird it was. Like, saying they would take Jason to a phone later on, despite the fact that they have a hotspot, and Daikon has a number of phones and beepers and whatnot. And then, we got Daikon running to check the hotspot to check out the story to see if it was true that, he's not the first son or whatever. And I mentioned this in my other video as well, that I wish that we had actually, overheard the conversation between Jason and the highest while Daikon was, going to check things out. I mean, he just comes back and we get a glimpse of what was apparently a good conversation, but no, we never know what they're talking about. So he comes in and says that, Jason is dead, so he's not the first son. And I mean, apparently Mike left quite the impression, because the highest gave him a free invitation to stay if he wanted to, but he declined. But, he said he might come back at some point. This cover story of his uncle being worried about him. and then they just let him go. But of course, a lot of fans have speculated that maybe it was Manny or whoever was responsible for fixing Jason's bike put a tracker on it. First of all, why in the world did they bother fixing the bike? That just did not seem right to me at all, because it almost feels like, from experience and what I've seen on the show, whenever somebody gets to that compound, they do not go out unless it's in a body. Well, no, not even a body bag. More often than not, the person gets buried, or, they return the person to their home drugged up and covered in glitter and flowers and crap. But yeah, they just fixed it. No issue. And see, the tracker thing only, Daikon did not know that Mike/Jason was there until the morning. So he wasn't there when Manny scooped him up late at night. Jason was sitting with River for most of the night before they went to the trailer and went to sleep. Then they woke up the next morning and Daikon thought it was River, saw it was the first son, and then immediately took him to the highest trailer. So the tracker thing definitely sounds like a Daikon move, but the only way for it to make sense is if, when Daikon left the highest trailer to go to the hot spot to check on the first son's whereabouts or whatever, he came back and said that the bike was fixed. So it wasn't Daikon that fixed the bike. It was somebody else. Yancey got killed in season 1 or 2 by what was her name? Tally. So it's not like he was doing. I don't know who the new mechanic is at the compound that fixes stuff up, because I know Yancey would fix the bus and whatnot. But maybe Daikon did it after he found out the bike was fixed. Maybe he decided to tell whoever, hey, put a tracker on that bike, because I don't really trust this kid. So I don't know. Maybe he did it then before he got back to the trailer to say, hey, we're sorry, the first son's dead. And then the highest just let him go. So that could be why he was so cool when River was like, why did he just let him go? Because he's the highest. And that was it. And that was a weak ending. I mean, like I said, a lot of people think, oh yeah, the tracker is they'll figure out he's in DC and it's he really is the first son or something. But that doesn't really matter when you think about it, because even if they track the bike to DC, what are they going to do? Because wait a minute, if he really is the first son, that must mean he's in the White House. That doesn't make any sense. So folks, yeah, I think this, look, you all know me. I've been doing this for years. Yeah, I'm that theory guy. I'm the one that kind of puts things together. But to be completely honest, I don't think anything is going to come from this crossover. And it's sad, because there was so much potential. And keep in mind, I said this going into season 5. The only reason I give a damn about this season is that Jason's going to be at the compound. But now that he's gone, I don't really have much holding me into the show. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to stop reviewing it now. But it's just I don't really feel like there's a reason for me to be excited at all. Because the potential of, okay, well, if we got Jason at the compound, maybe Ruthless is going to wrap up soon as a series. And then we'll get the true finale to the series in the Oval, which will make sense. But I don't even know. I don't know. But that's all I got to say about this disappointing crossover. Ruthless TV even said, look, at this point, I'd rather have a never the twins shall meet. Basically keep Ruthless as his own thing, keep the Oval as his own thing, and that'll be pretty cool. I mean, that kind of, I see where she's coming from, but I feel like they have to merge together, especially if Barry is still alive, because his entire storyline revolves around getting his daughter back. So I don't know. But yeah, folks, thanks so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.